What's up YouTube? My name is Chad. This is the Wisco Boater channel. Welcome back to another episode of off-season maintenance on Thirsty Whale. Today I'm going to start a fairly big project. I'm not going to get it done this weekend, but I'm going to start working on figuring out how to replace my hydraulic Hynautic steering hoses. I'll go up to the helm here in just a second to show you what those look like and the reason that they need to be replaced. I've been putting this off a little bit because I'm worried that I may not be able to figure out how to do it myself, so I might have to enlist the help of skipper buds possibly. But one of the great things about this boat being old, and one of the reasons that I like old stuff, is that 99.9% of everything on this boat is mechanical, and mechanical I can do. I can usually figure it out, and it's the stuff I enjoy doing. It's when you get into the electronics, that kind of stuff, and fuel injection and electronic ignitions and all that kind of stuff, I don't know a whole lot about it, and I would turn that stuff over to the experts. But this boat being mechanical, I should be able to figure this out. I'll come back down into the salon here to show you where I think I can get access, but first let's go up and look at the condition of the hoses, and then I'll show you the system downstairs in the engine room, and then we'll come back up here. Well, as you can see on the drive-in this morning, it was almost a blizzard outside. I mean, the winds were blowing really hard. I don't know what they were blowing. I would say probably 25 to 30. It had to be gusting to 40 or so, 45 maybe. And video never picks up the snow as you actually see it in real life, but so it doesn't look as bad in the video as it actually was. But that was a interesting drive getting into the building this morning. But I love this weather, and I love being inside working on something when I know what's going on outside. I don't know why, it's just kind of a cozy feeling to me. So it'll be a fun day of work today. All right, up at the helm station, I've got the helm cover off, and you can probably see them already, but those are the power steering hydraulic hoses that connect to the Hynautic hydraulic power steering system. They are in bad shape. This was on the survey. Interesting thing about it being on the survey, they weren't coded as a red or even blue code. So red is address immediately, blue should be addressed as soon as possible, and green is on condition. This was in the green category, and I don't really understand why they're in the green category, and maybe that's why I kind of put it off a little bit. But you can see the insulation is pretty much completely gone on these hoses. They are braided stainless steel, you can see that up there, but these got to be replaced. Now, we haven't had any leaks. I'm not losing any sort of system pressure or anything like that. So that's why I ran it this summer without doing anything with it until a leak started. But these are high pressure, up to 1500 psi. So we want to cross the lake this year, Lake Michigan, going over to Frankfurt, and I'm not going to cross the lake with steering hoses in this condition. Now, there are all kinds of videos out there on how to reseal or rebuild the pump that's up there that's connected to the steering wheel. There's all kinds of videos out there on how to bleed the system and set it up, but I can't find anything that shows how to replace these lines. So if I zoom out here a little bit, you can see the helm station. I've got this panel pulled off. Nothing really to see back there. Move the light. It's all just a bunch of wires, and it goes back into a space that's just pretty open, with the wires laying there for the Uno radar, and just an empty space. So I thought, I could pull the helm station off. It's really only attached by screws here. So you take the screws out, the whole helm station should come forward. But I don't necessarily think I need to do that. And this is sort of an exploratory kind of thing today. So I think that I can possibly get to these hoses with a little bit more ease from the back side, and that's why we'll go back in the salon. So I don't know if you can see it. or if I can even show it, but the lines go down through the back side of the wall there, and then down into the engine room. So I think if we go back down here, well, first let me show you how the system is hooked up down here in the engine room. All right, so those three lines are right there, the corrugated covered lines. Once they're down here, they are, I believe, stainless steel tubing. So they come down from the helm station right there, behind this board, run right along here, and up to our reservoir. So this is the reservoir. The check line is right here, and you can see I've got fluid up above this window, so it's somewhere between top of that window and the bottom of that window. And then our pressure gauge is up here. Should be around anything above 25 is good. So we're sitting at about 26, 27, and I've seen that vary between where it's at now and during the season around 29. So I believe it's pressurized fully at 35, but fully operable down to 25 if I remember the specs correctly. So don't need to really worry about replacing these lines here. It's the braided stuff that I need to get to, which is up above this panel here and behind the helm station. So back up to the salon, and I'll show you how I think I can get access to this. And this might be off or not, I don't know, but we're gonna try it. All right, well, as it is the off season, everything's a mess, so ignore that. But here's where I'm gonna work today. I'm gonna take all the booze off the liquor ledge there, remove that corner shelf, and then I will slide the parrot painting over a little bit. I think, now I don't know for sure, but I think that I can get access to the back side of the helm by removing this panel here, which I think is just attached by screws in the various locations there, and then it's sandwiched in a channel up there. So I think if I pull the screws off, that panel will come out, and then this panel here is attached by screws. So I think if I pull that panel out, don't think I'll have to pull the radio out. I am curious about this too. This is a battery monitor. It doesn't work, but I'm curious to see what's behind it. But I think the hoses are behind this panel here, because the helm station is right there. So it would make sense that pulling off this panel and this panel, that I should be able to see the hoses. This might be a futile effort. I don't know, but I don't know what I don't know. So we'll set up a time lapse here and see if we can get these panels pulled off. Here we have the panel removed, and we do have access to the back side of the helm. And you can see, let me use my light a little bit. Our hoses are degraded back here as well. But that is where they connect, and they go into, it looks like copper lines run down to the engine room. So these actually are not that long, and I will say access pretty easy. The thing I don't know now is is how do I disconnect these with the system under pressure. So I don't know if I need to bleed the system down, or if when the boat is not operational, if there is limited pressure on the system. I obviously don't want to spray hydraulic fluid everywhere, especially right over the top of the couch here. I probably should go get a drop cloth. I was trying to avoid going to Ace Hardware this weekend, but I probably should do that. But these are probably only about 4 or 5 feet long. I'm guessing it's going to cost around 150 bucks to get replacement lines. I've already found a source, so shouldn't be too bad. So I'll clean this up and then get some advice from one of the guys here, and then figure out how to move forward. I don't know if I'll take these off this weekend, but if the system can be bled down, or if I can take these off without making a mess, I may just do that. But clean up, run to Ace, get a drop cloth, and then we'll come back to this. All right, so I had one of the guys from Skipper Buds come over and give me a quick consultation on this. He looked at these and was like, wow, I've never seen steering hoses this bad before. Couldn't believe they weren't leaking, but he did say, yeah, those got to be replaced. So he just looked over everything and gave me some information on the pressure on the lines and how to relieve that pressure. Pretty much knew how, but I just wanted to verify that. So I'm going to go downstairs in the engine room one more time, show you how that was done. The pressure's already been bled off. He did it when he was here, but I'll show you how to bleed the pressure off. It's super easy. And then we'll come back up here and I'm going to get some drop cloths, plastic, laid down over the couch here, and get some oil mats laid down up here to catch anything. Also have some buckets just in case there's excess fluid coming out, which I don't really expect, but I want to be prepared. So let's go downstairs. I'll show you where the bleed valve is, and we'll come back up and get things ready to take these apart. Okay, back down here in the engine room. On the canister here, you can see our gauge is now down to the peg. This Schrader valve right here is all you need to press down to bleed off the air pressure that's in there. It doesn't do anything with the fluid, so the fluid should remain in the line. Well, it will remain in the lines back to the canister here. I'll just drain out the fluid that's in those the braided hose back upstairs. But if you need to bleed your pressure off, stick a screwdriver down in the Schrader valve there and relieve the pressure. All right, got couch and side table air conditioner thing covered in plastic and a absorbent cloth. I've got my oil absorbent mats here. These are pig mats stuffed up underneath the wires there, and I also have all 3 of the lines labeled for wall side top, wall side middle, and wall side bottom. So now I'm gonna crack that top one open and see what happens. And I don't expect anything to come squirting out of there, but just in case, I do have eye protection on, and of course wearing some rubber gloves here. So see if I can find a spot to put the camera, and I'll see if we can crack that first line open. Okay, got my 2 adjustable wrenches. Okay, the line cracked. If I can move by hand, I'm going to try to catch anything that comes out of here. Catching a little bit of fluid out of the solid copper side. Not a whole lot. The rest is dripping down on the pig mats. A little bit of fluid there. All right, I'm gonna discard these gloves. All right, so you can see we have first one disconnected here. Put a pig mat up to catch the remaining drip out of the solid line. All right, I have successfully removed all 3 lines from this side. Didn't get a whole lot of fluid out. There is still fluid in these lines because they go down a little bit and then go up to the helm. So there definitely is still some fluid in those lines that I'll have to figure out how to capture once I remove the other side. But I'll say so far so good. I did have to remove this cushion clamp, which was holding the wire harness up in there. Had to be able to move that wiring harness in order to get to the middle and bottom hoses. Again, if you're doing this, make sure you have plenty of pig mats, absorb some sort of absorbent material, because it is going to drip and pretty much get everywhere. And even doing this, I'm still going to have hydraulic fluid that I'll probably have to find and clean up at some point. But yeah, looks good so far. So we'll go up to the helm station and see what it takes to get the hoses off of the pump that's up there. Okay, I'm gonna work on getting the other side, the helm side, broken free. And we'll start with the one on the right. I don't think you'll be able to see this. All right, let's see if I can move that by hand. And get our bucket here. So there's going to be fluid that comes out of the pump as well as out of the hose. So try to position this so I don't make a huge mess. Okay, good. Didn't get much out of nothing out of the pump, which is good. So take my glasses off so I can see. And let's see if we can dump some out of here. There we go. You can't see it, but I do have fluid coming out. Okay. The back inside of the bucket. I don't have anything laid down out here as far as a plastic or anything, but I do have pig mats laid down here. All right, one. Just gonna wipe this off. Okay, so the other side should be fairly easy, but the middle one's going to be tough because there isn't much room to get a wrench in there. So I'll let you know how that goes. All right, coming back down here, I did get one of the hoses out. I was going to record it, but I just started pulling on it and my hands were covered, or my gloves were covered in hydraulic fluid, and I didn't want to go change out gloves and grab the camera. So one hose is out, and I've got this one all taped up. I'm going to pull it through the other side. That one is still connected to the helm. Having a little bit of trouble getting that one to break free, but I think I can get both of these pulled out through the helm side, and then hopefully that will make breaking the fittings free a little bit easier. Okay, got a bucket sitting here just in case, but the other end is taped with some paper towel on it. So let's see if I can't pull this one through. I'll try to push it through the other side real quick. All right. There we go. And I did spill a little bit. All right, so I have to find the paper towel. Leave that in. I got it in the bucket here. All of the coating has come off in pulling these through, so I'm gonna have a huge mess to clean up. So I'm gonna go ahead and pull the other one through, I think, and then we'll see if we can get the fittings loosened up on this side. About halfway through this project, got the two hoses pulled out here. You can see it's making a huge mess, which I expected. So I'm gonna take a little bit of a cleanup break here, get the vacuum out, put some new pig mats down up here, as well as down here. Use the assistance of a light here, but you can see it's making a big mess. Glad I put down the plastic and the absorbent cloth. Yeah, it's just a mess. So I'm going to clean all this up, replace everything. It is 220. So this might be all I do as of today, is get everything cleaned up and reset. And then probably tomorrow morning when I get back in here, I'll finish out pulling out those 2 hoses and see what other maybe small project I can do tomorrow before I head back home. But really glad I'm getting this done. This really needed to happen. This will be a 2-part video, by the way. So this will be the removal of the hoses, and then when I get the new ones, I'll do a video of installing them. So, yeah, other than being messy, not really all that difficult. I mean, the hardest part was pulling the hoses through and getting the fittings off the helm, just because there's not a whole lot of room to move the wrenches around. So, but we'll get there. All right, well, I decided not to wait till the next day. Still had an hour left, so I went ahead and got the hoses pulled off. One of the fittings came out, but that's all right. I'll just put that one back in. So no big deal there. And I'm gonna leave that pig mat there in case anything drips overnight. I'm gonna try to find some caps or something to put on those fittings up there until I get the new hoses, or I may just stuff some paper towels or something up there. But yeah, that's all the fluid that I got out from the lines. So didn't make a big hydraulic mess. So that's good. And the hoses are down there on the floor. I will take those home with me and measure them out and figure out what the lengths are. I think they're probably about 4 feet, but there is a place online that has replacement hoses available that are Kevlar coated and basically resistant to any sort of fluid or substance that would get on them. So I'm gonna order some of those, and the price I looked at last night, these are between 50 and 70 bucks each. So probably I'll have less than 200 bucks in this project. It took me, well, I started at about just about 9 o'clock this morning. It's now 10 after 3 with a short break for lunch and a run to Ace Hardware. So you know, this took me, we'll say 5.5 hours. Usually I cut that in half if I have skipper buds do it. So, you know, 2.5 hours, 3 hours for them to do it. So save some decent money doing it this way. So really happy with how this turned out. Access to the hoses is really pretty good once you get these panels removed. So I'm gonna do a few other things with this panel off. I'm gonna figure out, there's some wires in here that don't go anywhere. So I'm gonna try to get some of that stuff cleared out. I'm gonna try to get this battery monitor working. It's just wired incorrectly. Try and tidy that up a little bit. My dad's gonna come up and help me sometime in the next month and a half. I think that the two of us will be able to figure that out. So I'm gonna leave this open for now. Also, there's a new shade that's gonna go in front of this window. That actually should be arriving at the house while I'm gone, today or tomorrow. And put that in, be a lot easier with this whole panel off and all the booze out of the way. So yeah, good day, good project. So part 1 of this project is done. Part 2 will be once I get the hoses ordered, I will install them. So look forward to that here sometime in the future. But anyway, thanks for watching this one. Hope you enjoyed it. We'll see you next time on the Wisco Boater channel. Happy boating, everybody.